Today is Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 44, Week 11.
This episode's titled, I'm Not Worthy, spoken by Carolyn.
Carolyn, about the lobster.
She was featured quite a lot this week. Okay, we're back at Camp Vava, night 19.
Carolyn is very upset. Of course, they knew she would be.
You had all day, she told them. All day you could have told me.
Well, you lied to me all day. Even worse.
Yam Yam tells her, it's not personal.
We
Don't
left
make
you
it
out
personal.
of the vote. You left me out of the vote once.
She did conveniently forget that, it seems like.
She said once. Well, I think basically, she was telling them, look, give me a minute. I'm upset. I cannot get rid of it that quickly. Give me a minute. Let me have it. Let me be angry at you. I really believed she would get over it and come back around.
Jaime noticed. She commented and said, she's yelling. I feel sorry for Carson and Yam Yam.
Yeah, they all seem to feel sorry for them. And Danny even said something about she needs so much. In other words, boy, they have to put out a lot of energy to maintain Carolyn.
Yes, there's a
their alliance.
High Carolyn tax if you're going to maintain that alliance.
Well, you can tell Danny was not willing to put any effort into managing Carolyn much. So
Carolyn tells Carson and Yam Yam, we'll go bond with them. And this betrayal is torture. She can't turn the page of that
it's
fast.
It's mental torture.
What did you think of what Yam Yam said when he got back over there with Danny and Jaime and Lauren and Heidi?
What did he say?
Well, she's upset because she thought she had a perfect game.
Oh, okay.
And so her perfect game, always voting correctly, is out the window.
Okay. So Yam Yam does seem to be keeping score on every little thing that could assist people in the end game.
Yeah.
He seems to have recorded all that.
He mentions that again towards the end, too, doesn't he? Danny just wants to know who voted for him.
Yep, and everybody lied. Well, not everybody lied, just Heidi, but they all said, no, we didn't do it, we didn't do it, we didn't do it.
Heidi told the camera, it was me. Now watch me dig the hole deeper.
Actually, she convinced him eventually, so good on her. But there were 2 votes for her. It's like, well, who voted for me? You only got 1 vote. I got 2. Where did they all come from? But, okay, it's day 20, and Jaime is leading a meditation for the group.
And now she wants everyone to share their gratitudes.
Okay.
Danny is thankful for sand under his feet and breath in his lungs. He has a nice list of things.
I mainly focused on Yam Yam saying, we have lows and we have Heidi's.
That was good.
It was.
I like that. Yeah.
I laughed.
I don't think she got it immediately.
That was cute.
Jaime
I can see
is
why they like him.
ecstatic because they're real people here and they're developing real bonds. And we're cheering for each other 1 minute and then we're at battle the next. And she just loves it. Giggle, giggle, giggle.
Well, then here's where we get Heidi's story.
Yes.
Now, you had Heidi going home tonight. So.
And the pattern is show a backstory, that person's not going. That's what we've got so far.
Well,
this
it
season.
was different in the beginning of the season. If they showed the backstory, you went home.
In previous seasons, it worked that way. Not
I thought
this
even
season.
in the beginning of this one.
Nah, I don't think so. Could be wrong, but anyway, Heidi tells us that she has felt the growth.
And she is willing to go the extra mile and willing to take risks. Obviously, she voted for Danny and
Her backstory is all about overcoming struggles.
Yep. She lied convincingly. So
a tiny, teeny bit about her struggle. I started out double E, and I changed. I did not find that to be a fruitful path, but it was absolutely a struggle.
What was that?
Her degree? You're completely confused.
Okay.
Huh? She's an electrical. She has a degree in electrical engineering. I started out double E, and ended up switching to computer science. But yes, that degree, at least at Georgia Tech, that was a struggle of a degree.
Then we go over to Yam Yam and Carolyn, and she's over it now.
She just needed a break, she tells him, and now she's back to play.
Okay, she just barely gets over it, and then Yam Yam's got the gall to say, do you have Tika's idol?
You have Tika's
idol, You can tell me. You can tell me. I won't tell anybody. Yeah, I trust you right now. Sure.
Right.
And to her credit, she lies convincingly.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Again,
I don't have it.
That's not the first time he's asked.
Oh, of course not.
But Carolyn's got final 3 plans. She thinks it's Tika in the final 3. That's where she's headed. She just wants to know what's in their head.
Well, I would have said they felt the same way right up until next on, but okay.
Carson's feeling pretty good. They started out at a 12-3 disadvantage, and now they've got it down to where it's 7-3. So, and they're pulling the strings. He's feeling pretty good about how things are going. And he recommends that they let Danny know that it was Heidi that voted for him.
How did they know that for sure? Yam Yam was positive Heidi did vote Danny, but how did he know that?
Well, they knew what the planned votes were, and that was part of the thing that they had told Heidi at one point. So I guess he's just working backwards from what they had all discussed.
Well, they did tell Danny, and
Yam Yam did, not Carson.
Yep,
that was interesting. So it's like Carson let Yam Yam manage that social relationship.
And Danny says, well, that doesn't make any sense. Somebody's lying. And he's thinking it's Yam Yam.
He logicked it out, he tells us.
Yep. And he talked to Heidi, and she's like, that makes no sense, Danny. So she knew exactly what to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't make any sense to him either. And she said it wasn't me. And he totally believed her, and he's ready to vote Yam Yam out. Okay.
I did like how he approached her, though. He was saying, look, I'm down to work with you still, no matter how you voted, even if you voted for me. So he was opening that door, trying to give her an opportunity to admit it.
Yeah, that was a lie. Never believed that. No, he wouldn't. If you said, well, okay, well, I did, then he'd be like, okay, we're going to get her out.
I think he was pretty pragmatic about that kind of stuff. So he was pretty decent at assessing the greater threat. His risk management skills are better than Heidi's, I think. But yeah, Heidi's just digging deeper with him.
All right, then we flip over to everybody's out on the beach, and Carolyn is loving her lobster shell.
Day 20 was a rest day. So we got a 2-day cycle, 20 and 21, and they started out with meditation on the beach, and now they are resting. They're all down
hanging
there.
Out.
Yam Yam is snoring. He's reclining, but he's got his head propped up with his hand, but he's still out and snoring. Yeah,
Yep.
Carolyn, as you mentioned, Carolyn finds part of a lobster shell there in the sand.
That was so funny that I never thought that's where the title was going to come from of the show today. I'm not worthy. Mm-hmm. She takes the shell and throws it down. I'm not worthy. Yes, I am. And then Lauren was already grabbing for it.
Lauren said, I am. And then that made Carolyn want it again. So they played rock, paper, scissors, and Carolyn ended up with it, but she felt bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a big feature for Carolyn. This was all Carolyn all the time. They went from a beach day together to it's all about Carolyn with the lobster shell. She's going to put it in her hair, and Yam Yam had found a lobster antenna, so it was now
And
part of
how
a
they-
set. And now she's out in the water, and
They're
she's
gonna
singing
go play in the ocean.
The Little Mermaid, and she likes when they're out there together being kids, and she's doing handstands.
And forget about the game for a while. I cannot. Well, I can understand how she can't handle focusing on it all the time because she drives herself nuts with the intensity. She feels everything so intensely that she can't just put it on the back burner and not analyze. She just makes herself it's all or nothing. So she has to just go to nothing
Unless it isn't.
and play.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
But she feels whatever she feels deeply.
And then when they get back, we see Yam Yam and Carolyn talking and about the final three, and Yam Yam's thinking that Danny's going to vote with us. And then we see Danny and Lauren talking, and they recognize that while they have been rivals, they're going to work together right now and target the Tika 3.
Well, and Carolyn made it clear she wanted Danny out first and then Lauren. Did that surprise you? Lauren over Heidi?
Yes. Well, did it surprise me? No. Yeah, I was trying to track all those things. So she's been after Danny for a while. So Danny over
that's no
Lauren.
surprise.
Yeah.
But then after you get Danny out, then she wanted Lauren.
Lauren's won individual immunity. She's
That's
got a
true.
better game. And I can't help but think that they may not value Jaime as a player in the context of the game.
Yeah, I have not thought that many people did.
When Carolyn hits Carson with that final three question, he doesn't hesitate. For him, it's the Tika 3 is the final three.
Yep.
We see Danny, Heidi, and Jaime at the water well, and they're talking about how they're going to target the Tika 3. So the battle lines have been drawn.
Well, and he and Lauren had already talked about it, so that was the majority with 4.
So they were looking at targeting Yam Yam or Carson and leaning heavily towards Yam Yam because he's so well liked. That's what they were saying. That's why Heidi even said it was going to be hard to write his name down. He's so well liked. So he is above and beyond. He's the winner of the social game in the Tika 3 from what we can see.
But Jamie's a little bit nervous to join with Danny and Heidi. She's not certain that that's really what she wants. But Danny's like, it has nothing to do with, that we like Yam Yam, but game is game and friendship is friendship. That's separate.
That's why I said he's very pragmatic about how he approaches it.
That's two different things.
Unlike Carolyn. We'll get another really
Don't confuse them.
Good contrast between the two coming up, too.
All right. Day 21, Immunity Challenge, the last gasp challenge.
Yes, the last gasp. This is a classic, and they get to see it fresh, just like season 43 did. It's been so, to this group of people, it's been just as long. They hadn't seen it as long as the day 43, so they were certainly just as surprised to have it come up.
Well, and Yam Yam's first comment is, it looks like a torture chamber to me.
Yes, and he's eager to test his fat hand snorkel, he tells us.
Yeah.
See if he's going to be able to make it happen. And as I predicted, Carson says that he had tested it in his bathtub.
Yep.
And Jamie's beaming with her smile.
And Jeff tells him this will test your ability to overcome fear.
Yeah, it's all about can you manage
the
panic.
The fear.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got to Lauren before she even got started.
Yes, you could tell her face, her demeanor changed
once shaking.
Once she recognized what it was. Yeah, and then when she got in the water and she was shaking early on, and Probst pick up on it because she didn't want to answer his question.
I don't think testing this challenge in the bathtub served Carson well this time.
Okay. We don't really have any objective way of knowing that if he was able to. He
didn't win. He won the others that he had done at home.
But maybe practicing helped him do better.
Maybe.
Than had he not. That's what I meant. We don't have any objective way of knowing if it helped him to practice or not.
Well, for me, it's clear cut. He either wins or he didn't.
Okay. There you go.
So there you go.
Lauren made it all the way to an hour. before she went out. I was surprised she hung in there that long.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't think she's going to make it 5 minutes the way she was trembling and all that. And I guess Yam Yam really did connect with his bar. Remember he said in the beginning, I'm spending time connecting with my bar.
Yeah. I saw that water lap into Jamie's nose, and I thought, nope, she's not. I saw it coming, and I thought she's not going to make it through this one. And sure enough, that took her out.
It would be really tough if you had it go, in your nose like that, in that salt water. I don't do salt water well, so.
Yeah, it's hard to manage for sure.
Yeah.
It's certainly a legitimate, real panic feeling that you got to. Of course, being out there in it the way Carolyn and Yam Yam were the day before, you have opportunities for those kind of things to happen, and for you to get acclimated a bit and deal with it when you're dealing with snorkels, and not so much when you got a face mask on the way they did.
But the freaky thing is laying on your back in the water where it could run down your nose or in your mouth as you're trying to get air, and having bars in front of you makes you feel like, even though their brain knows that they can push away and get up to the air, but that doesn't stop the panic when you got bars, especially the ones that put their legs through there, and you got to get away from the bars before you can get to air. And when you're in the middle of a panic, that's tough.
Certainly can be. You've got to always maintain a little reserve to clear your nose, to clear your mouth. So you got to be able to blow out both ways so that you can get that next breath.
So do you think that where they are makes a difference? Because I know Jeff would say, Danny's fully underwater right now, but he didn't say everybody's fully underwater right now. So I wonder if certain areas, if you got a
you could certainly get a wave that would be different, just inch to inch. So I guess that's possible.
And, of course, Jeff keeps pointing out, if you want to get to day 22, you can do it by winning this challenge. Give them a little incentive.
So Lauren went out, then Jamie went out, then Carson went out, Carolyn went out, and we didn't get to hear, I was just sure we were going to get underwater screeching, but we did not get that, at least to my recollection.
Nope, not unless she wanted a lung full of seawater.
And then Danny ends up going out, and now it's a showdown between Heidi
and Yam Yam.
I was really surprised at that.
Yeah.
Also hopeful. I had Heidi going.
You could tell that Heidi had thought this through, and she really had put herself where she could grab a hold of those bars and get her face through. Now, Yam Yam probably couldn't get his cheeks through.
No.
And with all the beard and all that, I don't think he could have, but she could.
She could extend up a little higher, you think?
Yeah.
That's when Yam Yam focused on the hand snorkel from the get-go, I guess.
So I thought that was smart of her when I saw her doing it. But I thought, well, but you can only hang on that much for so long.
Yeah, once you're under, you're under. That doesn't matter how far your face is pushed through.
Well, it is if you can get to air.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
All the way to 1 hour and 25 minutes, Heidi quits, and Yam Yam is still going. He does not know he's won.
I like that they were making fun of Jeff when he was saying, keep digging.
Oh, that Lauren was making fun of him?
Yeah, Lauren was making, keep digging, don't you quit. Sound like military, yeah.
Danny had to jump in and let Yam Yam know he had won, because Yam Yam
wanted to do it.
Still going.
Yeah, he had no clue. I guess he couldn't hear anything either.
With his ears underwater. What did you think about his celebratory dance?
I thought
he was like
awesome.
A child, right? His inner child definitely came out there.
Well, like he said, he was never the physical one in his family, and that does make a difference when everybody, even your parents, are more physically active than you are.
Yeah, he said everyone in his family was super athletic, so he knew they'd be proud of him, and it got to him to the point where he was shaking and crying.
Yeah.
Probst even gave him a good job, brother. got a hug. He also got a big sloppy wet hug. He gave Propes there too. Good stuff.
And then Yam Yam tells us this is going to be an important vote for Tika. If we survive tonight, we can go all the way to Final 3. Unless somebody messes it up.
Yeah. Well, the one thing he says he knows is it won't be his name tonight. So he's sitting pretty in that regard.
That does make a difference if you can just completely relax about it, because
ideally you do want that, because the hard part's coming up. You got to really clear your head to keep track of everything and to keep a really clear eye on everyone else too.
And now back at camp, they've got to decide who's going. We had chosen Yam Yam, and that is not happening.
Yeah, so Danny, Jaime, and Heidi agree that they're going to target Carson.
Yep.
And we see Danny telling Yam Yam, oh, we're going to split it. So 3 of us will go on Jaime, and then 2 of us will go on Lauren. So he's trying to tell them they're going after Ratu. They're going to split the vote. Yeah,
it's like they were discounting Carolyn as any type of threat. So, they didn't discuss getting rid of her or Carson. It was just either Carson or Yam Yam. So you figured they were going to go that way once he got immunity. Danny tells us it has to be Carson. But
Lauren's talking to Heidi, and she says Carolyn's going to be crying when we come back from this one.
Yeah. And they're going to have to manage her or not.
Yeah.
I think they would be better off when Carolyn's emotional like that. Leave her alone and let her work through it first. And then when she's ready to talk, then be there.
I didn't pick up on what it was that triggered her, but we see Carolyn telling Yam Yam that she feels something's off.
She reads people.
Feels like it's Carson's for some reason.
Her instincts were correct. That's what it was, is that she said, my instincts are telling me they're voting Carson. And so she goes and tries to, play up to Danny and say, look, I'm okay if you want to vote Carson. I can do that, And
something about his response didn't match up for her. Although I really didn't see anything that he did that was overt or that seemed like he was showing his hand in any way.
That's a gut instinct, and she had it. So, because sometimes you just get a gut instinct and you don't even know. You can't quite put your finger on it. It's just something deep inside of you. You just have a feeling. And she was right.
Kind of like how you got that feeling it was going to be Danny going this week, huh?
I did, and then I changed it.
Well, here's the other thing. She's a little bit of a broken clock when it comes to Danny, too, though. She's right a couple times a day, yeah. But she hasn't trusted Danny for the longest time, and she's been angling to get him voted out for how many tribal councils now? So I'm not sure there was anything super there other than she's just had him marked as suspicious the whole time.
I think you're wrong.
She doesn't. To me, it seems like it's the grudge from the ignoring.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that at all.
It's just been there with her ever since then.
I mean, she's been very clear that she wanted Danny out and she didn't like certain things. But this wasn't that. She was saying, my instincts are telling me that it's Carson. And she wasn't, I can't stand Danny. Or she even went and did the olive branch to Danny. She's trying to test the waters. So I respect that she did that. So
we see Carolyn talking to Carson, and she shares with him that I'm getting these vibes that it's you. And Carson says that he thinks Danny's coming for him when he's talking to Jaime and Lauren.
Mm-hmm. And they ask them if they would be willing to vote Danny. Did you think...
I like that discussion Jaime and Lauren had where they're trying to work out who's the bigger threat. Who do we focus on?
Well, and that's why they were in the next on last week. That's why they were feeling like they were in the power position, because they could choose to go either way. Mm-hmm. They were the swing. They could go with Tika 3, or they could go with the Danny and Heidi.
Certainly made Jaime feel good to have that power. At least that's what she tells us.
You still end up not with the numbers. So.
And they seem to think Carson was a bigger threat to win than Danny was. At least that was the sense that I got at one point listening to him.
Well, they still said even though Danny hadn't won immunities that he was capable of doing it. Just would depend on the challenge.
We see Carolyn talking to Yam Yam. She's trying to convince him to vote Danny. She wants to make sure that he's going to vote Danny.
But she still did not tell him about her idol.
Right. We see her next talking to Carson, and she tells him, I found the Tika idol. I like Carson played it. He played it slow really well. He told her, I'm in awe. So he praised her for her ability to have it.
And to hide it.
To keep it secret that long.
Yep.
And then we get to see some of her struggle. She's scared if she plays it for Carson, Danny's going to have an idol, is going to counter if they go after Danny. Maybe she really should vote for Heidi. And I was thinking, yes, that is the better play. Could you please do that? That's my vote out selection this week. Mm-hmm. And she's wrestling with it. She tells us she's scared and she's nervous and she's not sure what to do.
They'll turn the vote on her, and that they think Danny might have an idol. I guess just because he had one before and nobody knew it and kept it quiet. But it's Heidi that has it.
And he's always been an avid hunter.
Yes.
That's probably the
always hunting.
Number one reason they continue to suspect him. Tribal Council Night 21, Yam Yam's modeling that individual immunity idol when he comes in.
See this? Right in here.
He got that jury reaction.
Strutted right on in there.
Jury reaction he was hoping for too, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Which, would make me want to vote him out if he's working the jury that well, and they're all laughing and happy that he has it. It's like, oh, is that what I want? That's not necessarily a good move. But, okay, he did entertain the jury.
Probst pitches a soft one over to Jaime again about those week-to-week alliances. Is that still how things are? And she said, oh, yeah, this is all about one-day agreements.
Yep, it's different every time, Jeff, every vote.
Danny tells him that he's tired and exhausted, but he can't let himself be. There are no what-ifs here.
And everybody's a threat.
Heidi says timing these risks is hard. There's a lot you got to factor in. It's just difficult.
Yep, and you have to figure out when it's time to make a move.
And then Yam Yam gets a question, and he says, oh, yeah, everything he's doing all the time, he's thinking about the jury.
And it's very draining.
He's putting a lot of effort into thinking about that jury.
Yep.
And Probst catches Carolyn reacting, and she acknowledges that she's not sleeping. She's just always planning, always spinning.
Yep, that she's up every hour.
Now, that might have more to do with Yam Yam snoring than anything else, but...
Yeah, or her bladder, as would be my case. But
okay. A little weird left turn there.
Okay, well, that's what I think of when a woman's up every hour.
We get a back and forth between Danny and Carolyn here. Danny doesn't agree. It's not just about that. Can't sleep because you're planning, and he's looking at it like they're all experienced fighters. So you don't.
Yeah, everything's a fight. We don't know who's gonna have a knockout tonight. You could win or you could lose the fight, or blah blah blah. It's like, well, guess what, Danny?
They just ramped her up.
Yep, Danny didn't believe any of that. Yeah, I truly don't believe he did. I think he was confident with the vote. I felt like he was confident how the vote was going to go.
Well, you weren't saying that. I was saying that he was confident. You said he was cocky.
When he went in to vote.
Oh, okay.
When he walked into the voting booth. Yes, I thought he was.
Well, I thought he managed what he was saying. Yeah,
I wasn't about what he was saying.
Okay.
That was a long time after this.
Oh, okay.
That I said that, dear.
I see.
It's when they went to vote. Yes. In the voting booth. And Lauren talks about how they all experience things in different ways.
Yeah, and she said something that triggered Carolyn, got her annoyed, right? Something about emotions. She made the only thing Carolyn heard was that somebody was saying that Carolyn was playing emotionally instead of strategically, I guess.
Well, so Carolyn was talking about experience versus emotions. Then Danny said something, and she got annoyed at him.
Then Probst said something, and she got annoyed at him.
Jeff's like, are you mad at me now?
Get some sleep, I think he told her.
You need some sleep. And, well, come on, Probst. You have a wife. That's not going to fly. And Jam Jam jumped right. See, she does that to me all the time. She's always getting mad at me. It's like, guys, you're not helping things. Though she probably does need some sleep. And I hope she gets some. Jaime says she feels solid with the plan.
She's
that
good
she
with the
has.
roles that everyone is playing.
So that was designed to make Danny and Heidi feel good and Tika 3 feel good, right? I'm happy with the plan.
Yeah. Danny is happy that they've got alignment with the plan. And then Heidi's not so happy, though. She's been getting votes.
Yeah.
That's reason not to be happy.
Well,
there's a pattern she has observed
Exactly.
in the votes at tribal council.
She shouldn't be confident.
Yeah.
Danny, I like that he said, I trust them if they need what I need. But I don't trust them if they don't need what I need. Because that's when we vote the same, is if we both have the same needs.
Right.
And he did recognize that. So I guess other people's needs changed. So, okay, Carson is obviously nervous.
Scared, edge of the seat, he says.
Then he talks about battling his insecurities on Survivor.
And that's because Probst set this up to happen. Probst was trying to get him to play this sympathy card. Look at what this young man's accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I liked knowing that he felt that Survivor has helped him conquer and accept his quirkiness.
Yeah. Well, you were supposed to. This was...
I know.
all set up for that.
I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it.
He is growing confident and
Jeff
grateful.
might have been thinking Carson was going home and he'd give him a moment.
Probst was loving it. And Jam Jam says, yes, Carson, we are all in awe of your growth.
Well, and Carolyn is never comfortable, I don't think, so.
Yep, she says that she is still nervous.
Yep, she can't put trust in people that didn't vote with her last time. Well, no one voted with you last time, so did they? I can't remember, but anyway.
I don't know that we've ever seen
they weren't in sync.
What appered to be as an extended time up there in the voting booth as we got with her this time.
And that her, initial comment is, I'm going to throw up. So obviously she was still really nervous. Mm-hmm. And did it surprise you when Jeff showed her vote that she had first written Lauren and then crossed it out?
Well, they had discussed.
And put Danny?
They had discussed whether or not to target. Her and Jam Jam were talking about targeting Lauren or Danny at one point. So
yeah, I know.
I guess in that regard, no. And nor should you count Lauren out. She's actually won an individual immunity, whereas Danny hasn't.
It's not about Lauren. It's about what they decided before they went. And the last we heard, they were going to try to get Danny out and save Carson.
Yeah, but we don't ever know exactly how things are playing out and when they played out.
True, and they didn't know for sure how Lauren and Jaime would vote.
But you get lots of reaction shots from the other tribe members. Even Probst seemed a little unclear as to what the delay was with her return.
Well, even the jury, they were all looking like, what is happening in there? Somebody go check on her. Is she okay? What's happened? Did she pass out? You could tell with doing the finger thing, it looked like she was running through how the votes could go. She was looking at everything strategically before she made her decision and how it could turn out. Because had she put Lauren, that would have been forced a tie.
Right.
The way the votes went.
So we would have got 2 for Danny, 2 for Heidi, and then had to revote.
Yep. Because Carson was immune since she played the idol. But you could tell Carson was extremely nervous and not at all confident that she was going to play the idol for him. And I don't think she was either. She didn't seem to know whether she was going to do it or not.
Right. Hence all the figuring, supposedly.
Well, even when Jeff said, if you have an idol you want or advantage, now's the time to play it. She still hesitated a little long for it to be comfortable for anyone. So, but she did. She played it for Carson. Carson gives her a hug.
Big hug.
And everybody's like, oh, groan. They did not expect it of Carolyn, but the
Monkey
jury
wrench.
seemed to be really happy that she threw a wrench in things. Just to see her make a big move is exciting.
Well, and they might have a little bit of a grudge against Danny, too, since he was part of the reason that Brandon and Kane and Franny ended up there.
All of them, pretty much. Yeah. So, okay. Heidi and Danny voted for Carson, and Carolyn, the Tika 3 voted Danny. And what surprised me was that Lauren and Jaime actually did vote Heidi again for the second week. So that takes you into, how's that going to sit? Heidi can do numbers. She can figure that out this time.
Yeah.
She might not have known for sure who did it last time, but I bet she knows now. And that they've done it 2 weeks in a row, 2 tribals in a row. So why wouldn't she go pitch to Tika 3?
When it comes to Jamie's day-to-day alliance, it seems to always line up against Heidi. So
Yeah, and knowing that she still has her idol, she didn't panic and play it. She could go with the Tika 3, and if they pick the other 2 off, get to the Tika 3, then one of them goes because she got an idol.
what if it was the insurance against Danny having an idol, though, that they were with the Tika 3, and they were the split? So 3 on Danny and then 2 on Heidi. That could be the case.
Say again.
Which part? The whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, what if Lauren and Jaime were aligned with the Tika 3, with the Three Stooges,
I thought they were.
and they split the vote?
Yeah.
This was a vote split. It
Yeah.
wasn't just them being off.
I never thought it was.
Okay, gotcha.
I just was surprised that they went with them instead of with Danny and Heidi.
Alrighty. So what did you think about Danny's De Niro face? Were you sufficiently amazed and in awe of how much he looked like De Niro
No.
and how he got an extended De Niro impression?
No, I like that he wanted to do something to make his survivor exit memorable,
Yeah.
but it didn't
Probably
do anything
worked to
for
crack
me.
the guys up at the firehouse. I'm sure it goes over well there.
And that was
every
the
time he
main
does
goal.
it on a daily basis, probably
Yep.
hour to hour.
Yep, because he told them that he would do it.
Yeah.
When Jeff snuffed
He
his
was
torch.
gracious in his exit, told them all great move.
And Jeff played along, which was good enough.
Yeah. And then we get Probe saying good night to the final 6 now, and Carolyn said amen to that on her way out. So she's back to having a little action at the end now.
Well, and her Tika group actually voted the way she wanted them to. And she finally got Danny out, so why wouldn't she be happy? And she made a big move, a big play.
She got her way, absolutely. So what'd you think about the episode overall?
It was good. I knew that my vote off, I had decided, well, Danny's going to win that immunity, and they'll go after Heidi, and Heidi will play her idol, so they'll probably take out Jaime, because I didn't want to vote for Carson or Yam Yam, and so I just went with Jaime.
Did that affect your enjoyment of the episode?
Not at all.
Okay. I really enjoy the last gasp as much as he pumps up the fear element, which there's definitely something to it. It's always been interesting to see how people manage it, and the hand snorkel has been a winning strategy in the past, and Yam Yam delivered this time.
I get queasy just smelling salt water too closely. I don't do well in salt water.
So I enjoyed the tribe time there on day 20 on their day off. They seemed to have a good day at the beach, but they got some good strategizing in, and you could see how things were playing out. And we got a great challenge on day 21, and then the scramble that was on after that. And Carolyn did finally get her way, and she's now played her idol. So
There's only one left in the game.
her threat level just goes through the roof with that play.
Well, I hope she goes back out, searches, and finds her idol again.
Yes.
Because they'll probably put it back in play.
There'll be something. I don't know if it'll be an idol or an advantage. since there's still the one that Heidi found is still in the game.
Yeah.
And Carolyn's is from the first half, so they may bring an advantage back in. We'll see. I do expect something to come back in next week.
Yeah, I would think so too. But
before the Final Five advantage.
I'm just amazed that Heidi didn't play her idol, and that she hasn't. She's really.
Now, how do you credit that?
I don't know if she was confident. I think she was confident in the vote, but why would she be now for sure? Because she just got two people voted for her again. And
she's only got 2 more opportunities to use it. So, seems like she's probably going to play it next time. We'll see. I haven't gotten any sense that she's really good at figuring out the way things are going.
Oh, that's right. She can't use it in the Final Four.
Correct.
She has to use it in Final Five.
It expires after
Got it.
5, yeah.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that. So that's pretty cool. But I'm just amazed when she doesn't play it. It's like, really? You're confident enough you're not going to play it?
I really thought people were going to want to take Danny to the end because he looks like he's the threat, but he never delivers on it. But we've seen several minor threats taken out along the way. He's probably the most charismatic person, short of Yam Yam, that's still in the game to me.
Well, and Danny's good at those kind of physical challenges where he can run and jump and do that kind of stuff.
Partial challenge.
And they usually do that at Final Five.
Although it ends with a puzzle, so he would be...
Does it always?
Frequently ends with a puzzle. They're going and collecting pieces to put together a puzzle in those 4 or 5 different stages.
Well, he might luck out if he gets a big enough advantage, getting there quickly enough. So
you mean he would have?
Would have, yes. So I would have still considered him a threat to win challenges, even though he didn't.
That's kind of his story.
Yeah.
He didn't show up and deliver, but his threat level was consistently high.
I like it that surprise people are like Carson won last week and Yam Yam won this week, and so hey, they've got something on their resumes too.
All of the Tika 3 have something now. So
Yep.
You better start whacking them. Better find a way quick.
We keep saying that, and so far they haven't. And I got to tell you, I don't hold out a lot of hope for Heidi, Jaime, and Lauren being able to work together.
To mount any kind of opposition?
The only thing that can throw a kink in that would be Yam Yam.
It would take a Tika trader. How about some next time on Survivor? Carson
says, somehow we are finally in the majority. Well, are you? Culpepper Mouth 3.
I believe what he meant by that was in terms of original tribe numbers.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah, otherwise it's 3-3 and you're tied. Yeah, it did.
And so now we can run this game.
And so that says a lot about mindset. It's these original tribes had this very setting power.
It did. For them to stay together that long really seemed to.
Yeah.
Even though they kind of fought among themselves.
He's worked his whole game from that perspective.
Yep. And Jaime says, "Oh, imagine that. We're outnumbered." Really, Jaime? Well,
got to break up that Tika tribe.
You did vote for Heidi, you and Jaime, so yeah.
You helped contribute to that problem.
If you wanted numbers, you could have voted differently, though it wouldn't have actually worked out since Carolyn played the idol.
Lauren appears to be on to Carolyn. She said Carolyn plays clueless, but she's fooling all of us.
Yep,
and then,
she has been anyway. So.
Dun, 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 dun. We get the big comment from Yam Yam. He's talking to Carson, and he says, I think Carolyn can win.
She can beat us.
Yeah.
We can't take her to the end.
And then we see a Yam Yam confessional where he says, I need to take Carolyn out. It breaks my heart a little bit, he says.
Yeah, right.
Just a little bit.
I thought, no, cold and hard.
That's it.
So I'm okay if you go home now, Yam Yam.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Joanne's ready for you to go.
I'm ready for you to go.
You have betrayed Carolyn.
Betrayed Carolyn. After all of her loyalty.
Again.
Yes. But Anyway, it left us with something to think about, though. I would be very disappointed if it were to go that way. But
Well, isn't that in his best interest? Who has the highest threat level at this point in the game?
I don't think so. I think he's got a good case for. He's so well liked that everybody likes him. He knows it. He's entertained everyone.
You can't really know that, though.
No, you can't. But he thinks it. Everybody else seems to think it.
What's more concrete is he won an individual immunity, and
He did.
It was a tough one. But now Carson's won an individual immunity.
Yeah, but it
It's
was a puzzle,
stuff.
so I
People
don't think he
expect
gets
him to win.
Yes, he doesn't
So it
get
may
as
not
much
count as
credit
much. Yeah.
as Yam Yam.
Now,
because of
Carolyn
that.
is a savior. She defended poor little Carson, who was on the edge of his seat,
She does get points
unsure
for that.
of what to do. And she's there like the mama bear, defending her cub. And she made it so the Tika 3 are still in the game. She's got all that cred now.
Yeah, and they
And
may
the
or
jury
may not.
responded.
They did, but some of the jury is still in the game, and not so much with them. And they gave her credit, but
There was some reverence in what Lauren said.
Yes, but I still think they consider her to be overall to be too emotional.
Wackadoodle.
And yeah. So,
Non-strategic. Yes.
though, I hope they can see past that because obviously there's more to her than that.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
Because if she's going to try to claim she's not overly emotional, I think she's going to lose that
I don't
in the
think
end.
she did claim that. I don't think that's what she was saying at all. She was emotional. She is. And by choice. She's not going to hide her emotions or anything else.
She's going to embrace
That's part
it.
of her recovery.
It's her
is
authentic self.
Exactly. And that's part of her recovery. Good on her. Okay, but overall, I really enjoyed it, even though I didn't lose the safe, which is amazing because I had the Tika 3 all safe.
Do you feel like it's going to be less of a finale without Danny there?
No,
Okay.
because he's still there. He's just on the jury.
That's not even remotely the same thing.
Sure, he's there.
Okay.
No, I don't. I don't know how much credit Danny would have had. I'm not sure anymore. I don't.
I can tell you from the edit that he was highly featured.
Yep.
And
Didn't
he was,
buy much. They did.
he was a go-to guy when it came to representing, a view of the game.
Because he always had a view.
Gave him good content in that regard.
Yep. Good strategizing with Danny.
All right, let's
that's
shift
for
gears.
sure.
How about a JSFL update?
I
How
can
did
do
people do this
that.
week?
24 people lost their USB. David, Hatter, and Jack tied for first place
Ooh,
in
three-way tie.
JSFL with 50 points each. Woohoo! 91 people lost a save point, and 101 people, congratulations, earned a vote out point.
Wow, it's more than 50%, I think.
Yep, and it was not you and I. Even though I was so adamant last night, it was Danny's time.
Yes.
But I
Didn't go with your
changed.
gut, and you paid for it.
That's right. Oh, well.
You went with your other gut.
Yeah. All right. Side challenge. Jeremiah and Rebecca are tied in first with 48
Well,
points.
it's a lot of trading back and forth in that first position,
Yep.
too, huh?
With 47 points, we have Chris and Justin. With 45, we have Cold Mike and Randy. 44, Parker. 43, Robert. 42, Drew. And with 40 points, Lisa Ray and Stacy. Stacy has joined Lisa Ray.
Basement buddies.
basement.
You and me, Lisa Ray. Yes,
right.
I risked a safe on Danny and paid dearly
Yes, you
for
did.
that. I thought I had it figured out.
Yep.
Did not work that way.
Well, I thought I did too, but
Good
I
stuff.
didn't put Danny safe.
There you go.
It's just,
Definitely smarter.
it's like, no, I don't think I'm willing to do that.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing what you thought about this episode. I'm sure some people are crushed that Danny's out of it because he has been a season-long favorite.
Well, we know 101 people that are not.
If you'd like to join us on the Listener Feedback Show on Saturday, you can call and leave a voicemail, 206-350-1547, toll free, 844-643-8737. You can record an audio comment and attach it and send it to with your email, or you can write up a text message if you're not comfortable calling or having your voice directly in the show, and we'll read it into the Listener Feedback Show for you. The email is joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays. We ask you keep it in that 3-minute range. Got some starter questions. It's always there in the show notes for you. How did your assessment of the remaining castaways or of the castaways change after this week's gameplay? Who impressed you the most? Who do you think's playing best, and who is in jeopardy of getting voted out next? Can't wait to hear what you're thinking. We've been having some great listener feedback shows. Last week was awesome, 20-plus people, and had a great time putting that together and going through it all. Got us thinking, got Joanne spun around so much, she went away from having to vote outright.
I was the very first person. I think that's the first time ever. I was the very first
on record
person.
As having the first entries in.
The first entry. Right after the deadline, I went in and thought, I'm just going to go in and put Danny down right now.
Danny.
I'm going to do it right this minute.
Until it didn't.
And I did, right until I changed it.
So we look forward to hearing how that all played out for you, too. Anything else?
I enjoyed it. I hope you did, too.
Have a good one.